I'd been in this field since 2001. Khairu was asking me, "Are you still with Disha?" Yes, Khairu, proudly I said. I have no intention of changing my field. Very happy. You are spiritual. My spirituality begins with Disha, ends with Disha.
Just 3 lines, okay? Only 3 lines. 3 lines, absolutely. 3 lines to end this lovely, lovely evening. Okay, first, I forgot to thank a lady by the name of Sandhya Kaloke. Did I pronounce it correctly? Kaloke, yes. Who actually was kind enough to, send her here from Disha. And thank you so much, Khairu. Awesome. The next speaker, she deals with special people, right? And she's going to talk to us. I requested her to tell us about. We're talking about work, so I'm talking about how they go about getting them jobs. They work with a lot of companies. In fact, what little research I had done a few years back, I knew that IBM was every year there are these awards, right? Part of the HR awards, part of the corporate awards, etc. May I invite Kirtitha Kundaikar with a round of applause, please. This is very special. This is very special.
Thank you, Mr. Nabar. Unlike Khairu, I'm not going to share my experience with you all as a successful entrepreneur, but rather I'm going to focus to one particular area or a field which has been ignored for quite a long time. We talk about gender biases, we talk about the disability, the rights of the disabled people, but in that section also there is one particular group which is hardly looked upon or quite ignored, I must say. Now, coincidentally, last year I was doing post-graduation in counseling and career guidance, and I was supposed to pick up one topic, and my topic was this employment of disabled. And in that there was one particular coincidence. This was last year, and I happened to, whatever I have picked up today is from my work only, dissertation part. So,
how do you know each other? Sorry, if I may ask, you don't have to
Goa is a very small state, and Panjim still. Yeah. A girl and woman of all ages with any form of disability are generally among the more vulnerable and marginalized society. I have collected some data or statistics of world, India, and Goa. Very sorry to say, I couldn't get much. In fact, last year I had very tough time. I went to all the departments. Nobody could give me much information about the reservation data. Yes.
But maybe if there is a blind girl, it's going to be very difficult. That's how the National Association of the Blind and all that. So what now they are doing is, they themselves are making an association. They themselves are making self-help groups.
Right.
And they are trying to promote it. And several corporates have taken it as a corporate social responsibility. Again, there is a bias. Supposing there is a blind man or a blind girl, okay? Employability of such a person. But supposing you have a factory, how many of you are, ready to employ a disabled person? Okay, especially if there is a blind person in government offices and all, we give them employment. He would remember, caning of the chairs and all that, would be reserved only for the blind people. Okay, and similarly, in the corporations and other things, telephone operators, especially we used to give it only these kind of people. They handle computer also, because we got even the braille computers. With braille
Disability is a
keyboard.
state of mind. There are some amazing Indians, to cite an example, who have not let their disability hold them back in any way. For performing in international arenas to bagging gold medals in sports events, there is nothing these champions cannot do. They have made us so proud, like Sudha Chandran, an actress, a classical dancer, Priti Sivanasa, ex-captain of Tamil Nadu women's cricket team. She's now running an organization called Soul Free. After meeting with an accident, she became totally paralyzed. She's on wheelchair. Arunima Sinha, first woman amputee to climb the Mount Everest. She met with an accident. She was on the railway track and her both legs had to be amputated. But she managed to climb the Mount Everest. Sadhna Dhand, a painter and a photographer, Malti Krishnamurthy, an international para-athlete. The list is big, but still when it comes to employment of women, it mostly becomes a secondary choice, or still worse if that woman is having some impairment. First, woman, then again it's with the impairment, big no. According to World Health Organization, about 15% of the world's population lives with some form of disability, of whom 2 to 4% experience significant difficulties in functioning. Census 2001, I have to take 2001 because we don't have latest information. We are still stuck to 2001. Yes, ma'am.
Various organizations, both Indian and from abroad, are all working towards that. In fact, that is how even that PDA Act was made possible. It didn't come overnight. There was a whole lot of the work, that had to go behind that. In fact, the people who actually initiated all that have all become very old now, and probably they're not able to reap the benefits of whatever they did. But of course, others are.
It began in 70s.
Began in the 70s, even the late 60s it started. Yes.
Still going on. So my main.
Speaking about the access to government offices, access to government facilities, barrier-free cities, for instance, the footpaths. Our footpaths, even a blind person cannot walk on the footpaths at all. But that doesn't mean that the laws do not exist. The laws are very much there. Parliament has passed these laws. And as she said, India is a signatory to the United Nations Convention also. But it is all in the implementation. And the implementation, several government offices, several public sector institutions have got all these, kind of problems. So you are right, because every kind of disability is unique. But here, let us at least address the basic access.
Right.
First thing is access. The access itself, we do not have.
Shifted to upper floor.
Very
They were
unfortunate,
protesting
yeah.
that they should brought down. Education department had directed, but management was not. Then matter went to the court.
Right, I know.
Do you know
about
anything
it.
further? What happened?
I think it was decided that they should be shifted back. I
No,
think
the
if I'm
direct
not
education
mistaken,
department had directed them.
them to
But they
shift
were
back.
not,
They were quite adamant
the
not
matter
to.
went up to
It's
High
very
Court.
unfortunate incident.
What
that has
happened further?
That too in the freely available, but I couldn't get much. Yes. Okay. Has revealed that over 21 million people in India is suffering from one or the other kind of disability. This is equivalent to 2.1% of the population among the total disabled in the country. 12.6 million are males and 9.3 million are females. The proportion has been reported between 57 to 58% of males, 42 to 43% females. The disability rate, that is the number of disabled per 1 lakh population for the country as a whole, works out to 2,130. This is 2,369 in the case of males and 1,874 in the case of females. Yes, ma'am. With Census 2011 widening its difficult definition of disability, there are now 33,012 disabled persons in Goa, a figure that has doubled in the last decade for 15,749 recorded by Census 2001. A majority, 57% of persons with disability lives in North Goa. Okay, let me jump to the world. About 650 million people in the world, 10% of the world's population live with disabilities and frequently encounter a myriad physical and social obstacles. They often lack opportunities of the mainstream population, are usually among the most marginalized in society. Now, why have taken overall disability? Because, okay, we are going to focus women, but the other part also, they are also equally vulnerable. Women face barriers to full equality and advancement because of such factors as race, age, language, ethnicity, culture, religion, or disability. This is not only in Goa, India, it's all over world, and more it's in Asia. Persistence of certain cultural, legal, and institutional barriers makes women and girls with disabilities the victim of twofold discrimination. A woman and as a persons with disability, just now I've spoken about. Girl and women of all ages with any form of disability are among the more vulnerable and marginalized of society. There is therefore need to take into account and to address their concerns all policy making and programming. Special measures are needed at all levels to integrate them into the mainstream of development. Often, women with disabilities are invisible both among those promoting of rights of persons with disabilities and those promoting gender equality and advancement of women. We don't focus women with the disability separately. India was one of the signatories for UNCRPD, United Nations Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability. The text of the convention contains an article on women with disability as well as several references to girls, women, and gender issues. It emphasizes the need to incorporate a gender perspective in all efforts to promote the full enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedom by persons with disability.
But as far as the old buildings are concerned, in fact, most of the government offices are all, very old heritage buildings and all that. So nothing can be done about it. In fact, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, with whom I worked, we have done a very big report, on these Persons with Disabilities Act, the implementation of that, and also as a barrier-free cities. Nobody was, ready to take that kind of a responsibility. But as far as all the new buildings are concerned, it is being implemented.
It is, because
but not
it's a law.
for any of the old buildings. Yes, you are right. Disabled, when it comes to the disabled, whether it's men, women, old people are also disabled, So all of them face the same kind of constraints in entering any building.
Now, the
Right.
point
You're
is
right,
then
yeah.
what
Right,
happens to them?
It's not only
Who helps
building.
them? Is there a system in place? Is everybody getting the benefits which, some people are trying to pass on to them? Now, employment of these people, of special people, special. I'm not saying they're children also, but
Right? So I'm going to stop here and I'm going to invite you for a cup of tea. And there's some lovely, lovely samosas and sandwiches. Is there anyone who would like to say a few words towards the end? Yeah.
And you stood up.
Yes.
It reminds me, about a well-known saying. Great person is not he who never falls down, but he who gets up every time he falls.